joint not going nowhere. Computer. Yo, we stuck at 157.
Slowing up.
Yeah.
56. There we go. Yo, we live? We live?
Yo, we live and in the building.
All right. Welcome everybody to another edition of Kickin'It 316. On tonight's show, we're going to start off with our kick it or pass it portion. We're going to look at 4 shoes and we're going to give you our opinion of these shoes. Then we're going to slide over to our it portion where we'll begin talking about the story of a black entrepreneur. Got a special guest, one of my childhood friends, Ida Cicero Hartsfield, in the building with us. And then Ados, American descendants of slavery. Let's talk about it. Let's get real. Let's keep it 100. Let's see how we feel. And then respecting your elders. Y'all saw what happened with Cam Newton. Let's talk about it. We're also going to have our 316 Black History moment of the day. And we'll conclude with our 316 moment. We got some special guest hosts, and we want you all to kick it with us. Share, like, let's kick it.
Yo, what's good, baby?
How's everybody doing? How y'all feeling?
Yeah.
We here, man. We here kicking it 316. We got some special people in the building with us today. And we're going to go ahead and introduce everybody. Gio, beginning with you, man, the man with the controls in his hands.
Man, as always, I need y'all to extend your hands out to your screens and intercede for my Mac is going down today. But listen, man, I really believe we're going to make it through the show. It's too fire not to get through it. This is your boy Gio all the way from the bottom, 305. Not 904, but 305. And so we want to make sure that people know what time it is. All right.
KP.
Yeah, man, it's KP. Corey Douglas. What's up, y'all? Glad to be on today. I'm excited for the show, for the cast, for the guests. We got a young sister in the building, y'all. I'm excited.
I like that. A young sister. I like that.
It's going to be a good show today, man. So I'm looking forward to it. Listen, are we 3 minutes in? Like, share, subscribe. Let's get it. Invite your people, friends, family, enemies. We don't care who you send a link to. Send it to somebody.
Yeah. Send it to them. I'm Croc Kicks. I'm here in Huntsville, Alabama. My Huntsville people are in the building. We representing. First Church is here. I see, look at Vera. My church is in the building, y'all. We representing. And I have the privilege, the honor to introduce. Go ahead, Dora. Please introduce yourself to the people. Where you at? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
What's up, y'all? As I was sharing with y'all, it's been a minute since I even been in the same space with any of you. So I'm happy to be here. My name, Elisa Young. I go by that. That is my government legal name. But you'll hear, I'm sure a lot of folks here know me as Dora. I am in Seattle, Washington. So I'm really just getting off work While some of y'all have probably had dinner and had a chance to relax. And so with that time change, just pushing. I've been out here for about 4.5 years, and
Wow.
happy to be in the space with y'all.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
That's
what's
what's
good.
up.
Seattle, Washington. All right. So it's afternoon your time, right? You're just chilling.
It's
Lunchtime.
about 6 o'clock here.
Okay, stomach growling. I'm
Oh yeah.
my stomach. Oh no, it ain't. I had a little Chipotle. I had a little Chipotle.
So terrible.
But but y'all, man, we thank you all for logging in and hanging out with us. The show would not be the show without you, our viewers. So please go ahead, hit that like button, hit that share button. We want to get the word out. Don't be afraid to share it in somebody's DM. They might not watch it live tonight, but they'll catch it tomorrow. We got a great show lined up for you, some very special guests. And as always, we're going to get started with our kick it or pass it portion of the show. This is the part where we talk about the sneakers, what's dropping. And of course, there's more than 4 shoes that are getting ready to drop, but we pick 4 shoes that we think you might have a chance at getting, right? Because we know the bots are crazy. And 4 shoes that we think are dope, all right? Well, have the potential. All right, so let's get it started, man. What do we have first, G.O.?
Well, the first shoe we want to highlight is, I think, probably the best shoe out today that we're going to talk about. It is the Nike Dunk Football Gray. I'm trying to pull up the specs. I don't have them quite here, but here they go. Listen, this shoe is a sick shoe, in my opinion. They come out on the 25th. Someone says payday. Come on, somebody, $110.
Hey.
$110, and I just love that old school feel with these. Again, it still has the kind of like that Jordan 1 silhouette, but it's a little bit more bulkier. And then you don't have the Jumpman on that. These are purely Nike, so just in case you may have some ethical issues with Jumpman and Jordan, you can rock these. So yeah, these are dope in my opinion. What's up?
Dora, how you feel about this shoe? Is this something you'll rock, you'll kick it, or is this something you'll pass? You're not feeling it?
I definitely will kick these. I had these back in the day in white, so definitely would kick it in these. I think I like the tan or the light tan color that's on the silhouette here, at least in the picture that you're showing. I used to be a shoe person back in the day. I used to sell shoes. It was my thing. Not so much now, so I'm definitely not up to date, but I would kick those for sure.
Okay,
those are dope.
Yeah. KP, New York, Brooklyn, stand up.
You know, I'm a Dunks man through and through. Air Jordan 1, man. The Air Jordan 1 silhouette is always a good to go for me. I mean, the colors ain't really to my taste right now. It's gonna be real, but it could be a good summer shoe, y'all. If they let us out our house this summer, so it's a good summer shoe.
No COVID.
You know what I'm saying? You might have get vaccinated to wear these shoes now, but still, you know, it's a halfway kick, half pass. You know what I'm saying?
It's a halfway. Hey, so it's a pump fake pass.
Yeah, so it's one of Rondo's.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you know, I don't know. I'll kick this, man. Like you said, summertime jeans, some light denim is gonna really pop with that. With a white button up, I can see how it can go. I'm looking at some of the details. It says it's a draw. And for those who don't know what a draw is, it's pretty much you enter the draw and you have a quote unquote chance to get it. It kind of eliminates the bots from stealing the shoe from you. So this must be a shoe that's pretty dope, right? It must be something a little more deeper than meets the eye. But this is something that I would kick, man. I'm gonna say kick it. All right, we're gonna stick. I think these are dunks. I might have said Jordans, y'all, but these are dunks. This is a Nike Dunk Vast Gray. The Nike Dunk Vast Gray. This is gonna drop on the 25th, also at a price point of $110. That's right in my budget, y'all.
Poor man's Jordan 1s.
I'm gonna pass on this though. I got enough.
He's a basic.
It's not popping for me, man. I'm not gonna get where'd you get those from. You know, how'd you get those from this? I ain't feeling that vibe from these. So And that's why I wear my shoes. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, you gonna keep it 100?
Now I want them to be like, yo, you dripping today. I ain't feeling the drip vibe on that, so I'm passing.
Wow. I mean, these are clean though. I mean, they're clean. I just love the fact that they just. I'm more. I guess I'm the reverse from you. I like to just. I want to know that I have that silent drip. You know what I mean? Like, if you know, then you know, and that's what these shoes scream to me. If you know,
you got tennis ball. You got tennis ball Yeezys, bro.
I mean, I don't wear them as much as I used to.
Come on,
they pick up way too much attention. You feel me? I like something that's turned. The volume is turned all the way down, and so these are dope for me. What are you feeling? How you feeling, KP?
Yeah, man. This is a kick harder than the last ones. Again, I love the silhouette. The gray. I don't got nothing gray. I don't have any shoes that's gray like that right now. Had some old Bugs Bunnies, man. Them things are worn out. I can't wear them. So this is perfect. I can rock with what I got on right now. Again, perfect summer shoe. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I get a mask to match or some joint. I don't know if they let us outside. These are kickable. I'll definitely kick these before I keep the last one.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Dora, how do you feel about those?
I think these are dope. I agree with KP that I got a whole lot more stuff to go with this than I did the previous pair. And if they're 110, then
let's run that. Yeah, that's budget friendly. Come on,
let's run that. Let's run that. All right. Geos, pull up that next shoe.
These are down your streets, B.
Yeah, so right here, I'm trying to pull up these details. I put an audible on the run sheet. We got the Air Max 95. This is the De Lo Mio. All right, De Lo Mio. Right, it's a dope shoe. It's popping just enough for me. It's gonna catch your eye. I'm all the way about it. This is a shoe that I would kick. Dora, you know, the last 2 times we pulled you on the rear, but we want to hear what the ladies have to say on the front end. What do you think about this Air Max 95?
I'm not that traditional in that most of my tennis shoes are mids or highs. The Air Max 95, I had 2 pair of them. I think what's throwing me off on this shoe is the green.
Yeah.
It's a little bit too loud for me.
Come on now.
Color is in, and I know a lot of the ladies wear the green. So I definitely wouldn't kick it, but I can see a lot of us in them.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm kicking these, bro. I'm loving these. I love Air Max 95s.
That's
my favorite. My favorite Air Maxes. I mean, this is beautiful. How can you hate on the Nike Volt Green now? Like, how can it's? I got shoes that are all Volt Green, so I'm definitely kicking these.
I would kick out.
You're reaching for a little Volt.
I know. I wish I was in the same room.
Don't have no crashes back. Don't crash them back there.
Hey, it's about to drop, bro. You talking about some Volt like this? You know a little Volt like that?
I mean, those are dope. I rock those before I rock the ones you have. Those right there before these right here.
Definitely.
Yeah, but these are.
See,
this feels like summer, man. This feels like
a little bit more.
That feel like a frosty cone and a stroll down. You know what I'm saying, through the New Brooklyn.
Yeah, someone says that
those feel like.
Someone says the Volt Green 95s are way better. All right.
Yeah, those are some goats right there, some pillars, man. Those great 95s.
All right, and then we got one more.
Oh, we do. Let me see.
One more. We got one more.
Let me see what you got.
Hey, oh yeah. We can't talk. We can't leave without talking about these now.
Man, go ahead. Since you like these, go ahead, roll them out.
First of all, how you know I like these? You're not supposed to be telling what we talked about in pre-production. No one's supposed to know I like these. Come on, man.
My fault. Bro.
Hey, but real talk, those are dope. And you know, someone says pass. Oh my gosh. Hey, let me say this. I'm not gonna put that up there for too long. Let me say this real quick.
That's Phyllis. That's That's my PR person.
She might have been talking about the 95 though.
Let me put it back up. So let me just say this. You know, Croc Kicks knows I've been trying to get hit on some 4s for a long time, and I keep coming up short. So I mean, these to me they're not my ideal ones, but they'll do.
Sound like you're reaching.
I am reaching, but I need them.
They might hit outlets, bro. Them shoes might hit outlets.
No, don't
bro.
say that. Don't say that.
Don't reach too far.
Yeah,
Learn
they're
from
okay.
me.
I mean, I think for me, it's like it's one of those. You get to the top of the key, and you're wide open. You have to think about it before you shoot it. So I'm a shooter. I'm not gonna pass it, but it's gonna be I'm gonna think about it. You know. Someone said if you think long, you think wrong.
You
But
think
we'll see.
wrong.
Yeah, we'll see.
Miss Dora, what do you think about these Jordan 4s?
I like them. I would rock them. Like the red in there, I could do a lot with that, and then the suede just brings it a little something different. So I would rock those. Kick it.
All right,
You're
we got
kicking it.
Kick
Come on.
All right, we
I
got
like
two
that.
kicks. We got
Two kicks. Let's go.
KP, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I would kick it. I'm not
Let's
a Jordan
go.
4 person, but these are clean. I'm not gonna lie. It's clean, man.
Just change the laces.
Neutral. I like it.
Yeah, get some red laces.
Hey, y'all ready? Y'all ready for me? Can I go ahead and say what I gotta say about this
Oh
shoe?
Lord.
This is a hard pass, bro.
Oh.
This is a two-hand
No look.
wrist snapping. I'm looking you right in your eyes. I'm following through. It's a two-hand chest pass. Like, look at that joint, bro. Y'all know I don't wear lotion on my legs. Like, that joint look like my legs, bro. That joint is dry. That joint is ashy. That joint is not butter. There's no butter.
It's
there,
not.
man.
It's not.
I
It's
like
not.
the color of the shoe. And I think this is one of those shoes where Nike just did too much. They should have just had that color suede, just regular suede, just regular nubuck. And I would have tried to double up. I would have bought one and hid one from the wife. You know what I'm saying? I would have doubled up on that. But that alligator cracking skin, I can't do nothing with that. You see that? Look at that toe. What is that? What is that?
I mean,
That joint look ashy, bro. It looked like an indoor basketball that you went outside and hooped with.
I can't.
So I'm
I
gonna
feel
pass
you
it.
though. You definitely don't need to rock those though, because that do look like just above your ankle on a regular.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let me do that. Let me do that. Let me do that. All right. So man, I just wanna give a little love to the comment section. They've been rolling with us, man. We got a lot of kicking it. J Pat just said she definitely kicking that last one. Phyllis says she thinks she kicking it. Sierra, she been holding things down. Ken has been in the room. Vera's in here. JB said what's up to you earlier, Dora. We had Jermaine in here last week.
Okay.
Yeah, he held it down. He was shooting live from his car in San Antonio, man. You know, they big shout out to Texas and everything that they have gone
hopefully
through.
Yeah.
He told me his house was 35 degrees one night. 35
That's crazy.
degrees. So we're still praying for Texas. All right, man. This is the it portion of the show. The it portion of the show. This is where it all goes down. The shoes are just the vehicle, but the it is where we talk about what's been going on in society this week or weeks previously. And right now, we want to bring in a good friend of mine by the name of Idas Cicero Hartsfield, also known as IC. This is my boy, man. Listen, we go all the way back to fifth grade.
They go back like bell bottoms, yo.
Tallahassee, Aubrey Hills, W.T. Moore, Mrs. Robinson's fifth grade class. I actually
what's
sent
up.
her the link. Our fifth grade teacher, I sent her the link. So hopefully she gets to jump on here, man. So Idas, man, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. We're gonna be talking about Black entrepreneurship, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and your role, your journey to becoming a Black entrepreneur.
All right. Well, before I do that, I just wanted to thank you guys for allowing me to be on your platform. I've been watching it for a while. So first I want to start there by saying thank you.
Yes,
Can
sir.
y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
man, you loud
you
and
sound
clear.
good, man. You
Okay,
sound good.
good.
Tell us can you tell me a little about that shirt, man? You wearing? The shirt looks nice.
Oh
man.
yeah,
What
I
like that,
had to represent for
What's that? What's the shirt? I can't read it.
the Hill.
What it is? What it
The
is?
original orange and green of Florida. You know what I'm
What
saying?
it is? What it is? I can't read that. You said original green and what orange? I'm a UM fan.
Oh no. But this is I had to represent for FAMU one time. You know, it's a twofold for me because I grew up in Tallahassee, and also I went to FAM. I got lineage at FAM. My mother, father went to FAM.
Wow.
All my aunts, uncles, my grandfather and grandmother went to FAM. So when I went to college, it wasn't even a choice. You know, I didn't even know about college tours. I just like I'm going to FAMU.
What's up?
So I just wanted to represent that. Number one, like I said, like Barnes Crockett said,
Yeah,
I've been rocking with him since fifth grade, and we like brothers, man. He been there with the good times, the bad times. I done made him mad a couple of times, and he fought through it, and he knew that the love was genuine and real, and brothers fight sometimes. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah.
So talk to us a little about entrepreneurship, man. When did you first get, I guess, exposed to entrepreneurship, and then what was your motivation? And tell us a little bit of what you got going on in the side of entrepreneurship.
All right, mine actually started very young, probably around the time I met you, Crockett. It was like 4th, 5th grade.
Yeah.
And it's a funny story. I remember back in those days, all the kids would go to the skating ring, and it cost like $5 to get in, and you're gonna need $5 to get some nachos. So you need 10 would be good, and 20 would have you sitting right. So I remember I would go a couple of times, and then I'd be like, after a while, I was asking my parents, like, Mom, can I get $20 or $10 to go to the skate ring? She'd be like, oh, ask your daddy. And I'm like, okay. And I go to ask my dad, and I was like, Dad, can I have some money to go to the skating ring? He just say, ask your mama. So I learned at an early age.
Yeah.
Nobody gonna do nothing for me. They gonna do the bare necessities, food, shelter, clothing. But all that extra stuff, skating ring, no, that's not in the budget. So Crockett's can attest to this. I was like going door to door. I had no fear. I was going to people, hey, I noticed you got leaves in your yard. You want me to rake them? And I was learning early. Like I went to one lady, she stayed on the corner lot. She had a huge yard. And I told her $20. So I undersold myself for that. She was like, that's great. Man, I was like there half a day, and I was like, man, nah. And it was like 3 of us doing it too. So I was like $20 divided by 3. That we've been out here 5 hours. I had to tell the lady, I said, hey, we gonna have to just stop right here. She just gave us 10. So I learned a lot of little life lessons early. And by the time I started working, matter of fact, my first real job was with Crockett's also.
Yeah.
We was at Taco Bell. We was at Taco Bell. We thought we was doing it. Had our little fajita name tag.
Yeah.
We was going to Stein Mart to go buy some Tommy at the time or whatever back in those days. We thought we was doing it.
Yeah.
And then I learned something out of that because there would be a moment where we'll get a rush in the summer and people just scream out, bus, bus. That means like a tourist bus coming in. And there's going to be a lot of work going on. So after like 4 or 5 times of that happening, I was like, man, we be working real hard, but our pace stay right here. So I was like, we got to find something that when it get busy, we start making more money too.
Yeah.
So I was like picking up on stuff super early. And that was a part of my motivation. So with that, I had so many jobs like growing up. I did newspaper, pizza. I worked at a Wayne place. I worked at Hooters once doing the bus boy. I did so many I did taxi driving.
Yeah.
I even did Uber. And so actually what really happened is I was trying to figure out, because Crockett's was into sports. He played basketball. All my friends played sports, and I wasn't that talented. So I was like, man, I got to figure out what am I good at that I spent a lot of time doing. I couldn't think of nothing. So I had to think of making a negative into a positive, because all I did was watch TV. I could tell you every movie quote, every show. I could tell you what year it came out. And so that's how my first entrepreneur, I started doing a video production, because I watched so much television. I knew I had to make it look like what I've been seeing.
Right.
And so by the time I graduated high school, I had took a couple of video production classes. And then when I got to FAMU, I went to school for construction engineering in the SESTA program. But I was really getting into the video production aspect. I would hang out in the journalism building, and there was a mentor. He took me in and showed me the ropes. And then I came up with a pilot, and I was able to spit the pilot out and sent it to a local ABC affiliate, or no, back then it was UPN. It was UPN, and they picked it up and they gave us a slot at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I
And then
remember.
I had a TV show, and then I was like, man, I got to get money. So we started doing commercials for it, and then people start coming to me saying, hey, can you do my commercial for me? And that went good. That went good for like 2-3 years, and then I brought some props so y'all could see.
Yeah. Let's see.
So then I ended up after having the show, I made DVDs, and we even did like a soundtrack on one of them, and we was going town to town selling these, and I made money off of it. And I was in control of my own destiny with that. And so from that, I did. So from people knowing that I did the show, people would come to me and say, hey, can you do videos for this and that? And I started doing music videos and documentaries and things of that nature. So because I grew up in Tallahassee, there was an artist by the name of T-Pain, and he was in a group, and he had been on that TV show before. And so we had interviews and stuff from that. And when he blew up, he was in a group, and nobody knew what happened to the group because he kept saying he's going to come back and get them. So a light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, I should reach out to them to see if they'll want to talk to me, because we already had a rapport from the TV show. And they did. And then that was my second project, the Untold Story of the Nappy Heads. And you can order this now, it's still out on eBay.
Yeah.
You can email me directly. And it's a good. This was one of my biggest projects that I did, because it got me on MTV websites and World Star Hip Hop and all of that kind of stuff. So
let me ask you a couple of questions. So I know, because I know you, right? I know the journey. I know we started off side by side riding bicycles to Taco Bell. From there, you go to FAMU, you study construction engineering.
Yep.
And then one of the things you did, and briefly, one of the things you did, you were the first of my friends to own a house.
Yeah.
Right? You were the first to own a house, and you own and survive through the tank of the crash of the market. Yeah. And you were able to survive by pretty much having tenants. Right. And you were also leaning on your video. Let's fast forward through life, and now let's talk about your latest venture.
Okay, so there was a friend of mine that I met through another friend. His name is Solomon Herbert, and he was in the military, and he was driving trucks. And once he transitioned back into civilian life, he kept doing that. And so one time he came over to my house, and he was speaking to my wife, who was also an entrepreneur. And she started a company, and he followed her on Facebook, and he was just watching the progression of her of her business. And when he came to visit us one time, they started having a conversation, and he was like really inspired. And he said, she asked him, like, what are you planning on doing? And so like what happened was 4 or 5 days later, he hit me up, and he said, hey, I was thinking about what your wife was saying, and would you be interested in investing and going in half with me on a trucking company? And I was like, yeah, I don't know much about it, but I'm gonna lean on your expertise because you've been doing it for 7 years. And so we probably within another 2 weeks, we opened the LLC, and Talcal was born. And we had a lot of ups and downs trying to figure out how we were going to get the financing to get the truck, if we were going to buy or rent or lease a truck. And luckily, through the grace of God, Solomon worked for another Black company that also wanted to see other Black companies win. Mm-hmm. So they kind of gave us the leg up. Yes. And gave us the leg up. And so we didn't have to go through the normal struggle, horror stories that a lot of people go through, because he was already working for them, and he had told them his idea, what he wanted to do, but it didn't come to fruition until like a year later.
Okay.
So it took us a while to save up the capital. And once we did do it, they blessed us, and the day we got the truck, he was up and running. And so we've been up and running for like 2 months. As you mentioned earlier, I also have rental properties too, because the rental properties, like he said, it saved me during the recession, and I saw value in that, and I knew that ownership. You always hear a lot of people now talk about ownership, and so that's what it's about. And I also have a full-time job also, so my goal is to transition out of working for someone else, but at the time being, I do my engineering job in the daytime, and then at night I do the trucking and the paperwork and making sure that Solomon is doing good and taken care of, and we're also looking for other drivers. So
yeah, definitely. We're gonna give you an opportunity to put all of that information in our comment section. We got about 2 more minutes, man. In the first 60 seconds, if you could, man, because there's somebody in the chat room, the comment section right now. They're sitting on a gold mine. They're sitting on a dream, and they're kind of dragging their feet. There's maybe some insecurity. Something's holding them back. Like in 60 seconds, what would be your advice to them to get a dream, make it a reality?
I would definitely say first you have to have a conversation with yourself. You got to say, what is it that you want out of life? And sometimes it might not be what everybody else want. And I had to step into being myself and what I wanted to do. And so don't be afraid either. I started off with video production. I didn't know nothing about that, but my passion was what kept me going. And just like this TV show, I remember you guys first, your podcast, the first episode. Now y'all got the lights and the mics and everything. You got guests coming on, and so just stick with it and just stay the course. And nothing's going to be quick. Nothing's going to be easy. Just understand it's going to be a lot of hard work. But it pays off. It pays off.
In the next minute, if you could just let the people know where they can find you. You said that you're all looking for drivers. Where can they get that information? Where can they find you?
You can go to you can send us an email at elitebrothertrucking.com. I'm sorry, elitebrother@gmail.com. That's for that. You can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is SGPIC on Instagram. And those are the 2 best ways to get in contact with me. If you have any questions about anything, even real estate and flipping, we do that too. Me and my wife. And also I want to shout out my wife because she's doing interior design and her business. I would like to say I rubbed off on her. She might have a different story, but she's doing good and she's surpassing me with the hustle. So
that's what's up,
man. Itis, man. I see, bro. You know you my dog. Day one, A1. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. This man is a father of 3. He has a lovely wife, and I know you have a very busy schedule. For you to kick it with us, man, it means a whole lot to us, man. Blessings to you, man.
Finally, we meet someone decent from Tallahassee. finally, we get some good folk from the 850.
You're right. All right, my bro.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me.
Yes, sir.
Man.
We'll do it again,
All right,
man.
God bless you, man. Keep it up.
Peace.
All right.
Until Warzone. Oh, my bad.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
All right. So, man, great interview, man. I don't know about you all. I enjoyed it. What about you all?
Oh, yeah.
Man, this is dope. Yeah, that hustle that he has is just, I think his energy is contagious. Like you can see that it wasn't something that he just started off. It was always in him to try to hustle in a certain way. So I think that there's a young person out there who, like he said, who may not be on a basketball team or on a football team, on a cricket team, but he can hustle, and we got to normalize hustling in a good way. So shout out to your boy.
Yes, sir. KP, man, you go ahead and set us up, man, with our next segment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. So listen, man, I don't know if you guys are keen to this ADOS conversation that's been going around. We've had a change of guard in the White House with Biden and Kamala Harris. And we know a lot of the Black community, people of color, got real excited because, what's that? Anyway, yeah, man. Just got excited because you got a person of color now holding down this this VP seat. And one of the things that's come out of it, though, man, is this growing conversation, hashtag ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves, who are saying that although they're happy for, for Harris, that, they're not really feeling 100% because she's not really black. Okay. Or she's at least not an African American. So there's been this conversation going around saying that if you are a descendant of a slave here in the United States, that you have a lower hand, you're the lower part of the totem pole, that you are at a disadvantage. And so, it's a big conversation that's going on right now. I believe the conversation started with reparations. That's a whole thing we can go into as well. Basically, they want the whole reparation pie for themselves. And we're not speaking for or against that. But I got a friend of mine. He's from Nigeria, good friend of mine, Nigerian. He put out a poem the other day, and I don't know, for some reason, man, it reminded me of this whole conversation, this divide that is going on within the community of color. And so I kind of want to share that with y'all. I'm not sure if
I see you.
Give me there we go.
I see you,
share this with y'all real quick, man. It's powerful stuff.
Do you like this garment? It once belonged to my late father, whose grave rests in a place I like to call home. One of the few things he left behind, this unconscious hand-me-down sewn by worn-out hands, composing this African song. Each thread sings a skillful man's fight for a living. Look what my people can weave together. My people. These days I hear the voices calling, creating a deeper longing, because while I may appear an African American, I'm really an African living in America. America. The one course this young student continues to struggle through, the one place that reminds him every day that he is a grain of sand, a splinter, a foreign body stuck here to be forced out or to slowly disintegrate within. Lesson 1, genetics. When we arrived to the States, my father every night would make me and my sister chug a tall glass of milk, often spoiled. And like many Western societal standards, I had to force it down my own throat while my own father sits idly by watching, not considering how many Africans lack the ability to digest something that comes from another creature. But hey, I'm drinking milk. And when I grow up, I'm gonna have serious anxiety issues around everything that's dairy related. Lesson 2, what I call foreign studies, because I had to learn how foreign I was. See, the first name, Michael, no problem. But the last name, like our current pandemic, a unique virus that travels some 7,000 miles to give the average American a speech impediment. But why is it that they had the disorder, yet I had the depression? Or perhaps because Bach, Vivaldi, and Tchaikovsky were more noble names to pronounce than Ola Sameka. This is before our current wave of what we know as Black Pride. Before y'all were claiming your birthright from Wakanda, me and my kind were known as the token African booty scratchers, the National Geographic specials. You know, the ones who lived in huts, swung from vines, had lions as pets, knowing how to resolve all conflicts with that. I slowly learned I was not being pleasing to both sides, never fully African, but never fully American. So whether in confusion or concerned, everyone's wondering why I don't go, Kilon Shelle, how are you, my brother, my sister, now, wow. Often I wonder, why is it I don't speak to you like this on regular occasion? The truth is, assimilating to your culture, I learned what you Americans call code switching. I learned I was black and not brown. I learned bigger words like segregation and gentrified, where at home it was easy for me to blend in. Here it's easy for me to be identified. I had to learn through inquiries and stares of why am I here when my father's socioeconomic status meant in your little affluent neighborhood you see a little black boy minding his business but still being escorted back home by security because they thought he was an intruder. You know what just couldn't get past me? How my family can enter a higher tax bracket, yet I'm still considered a lower class being. A lower class being. You know, that's what I thought of myself as. Until I learned who I was. I learned where I was from. And get this, I learned of a discussion that took place in regards to my name when I was born. You see, my mother, she cried out. She longed for a male child, someone who would carry on the family's name. She thought to call me Patrick. It would describe a young man of noble birth, but my father intervened and said, I think we should call him Mikael, to show the Spirit of God would raise up someone like himself. His origin would never be earthly. It would always be heavenly. My grandmother said, this boy has been born overseas. He's been born abroad, so we should call him Bamidele to show when he is grown, he will hear the call to return to his home. My auntie said, this boy is Igbo blood, so he's Hebrew blood. So again, put God back in his name and call him Chukwuemeka to show today the God of creation has done something great. So when I wear my father's garment, it's not for fashion's sake. It's not because of someone's lost clothes. It's because I can still hear this African song. Each thread sings a skillful man's fight. For a living, my people fight. For a living, my people's life. Embedded in every fiber of my being, composing my history, composing my name, calling me Bamidele. So someday I have to go home. And I will want my grave next to my father. And God willing, if I have a child, I would want them to share this story as I pass on to them what my father passed on to me. I just hope they would say, do you like this garment? It once belonged to my late father, whose grave rests in a place I like to call home.
Yeah. So it's not exactly ADOS material, man, but definitely speaks to the struggle that people of color have in here with identity, assimilation, and whatnot. I want to welcome my good friend Mike O, the poet. Mike, before we really get into the ADOS conversation, man, maybe you could tell us a little bit about, exactly why you chose to go into that.
Okay. Y'all can hear me? Awesome. So, well, I was asked to share that poem and I was given inspiration for it, but the more I dove into that matter, the more I just felt more passionate to share my experience. Being a poet, I've shared different stories and my perspectives, and this seemed very unique and coincidentally, very timely. So the more I thought about it, the more I just wanted to pour out and just share my side of the story when it comes to my identity. And I felt that it was just it was like my process of accepting who I am. And poets have a way, we put our heart out there. And when we're going through a process, it's beautiful. We can share you where we are in our process. So I was also going through a process and in connecting more, having a stronger desire to connect, where for years, as it talked about in the poem, I actually spent a lot of time more trying to connect with what on earth is going on here in the United States. And knowing I have such a strong identity and those roots are there, I really ignored that for some time. So I feel like this is me this is you hearing my process and how I've actually been able to accept myself, accept where I'm from, and actually have such a strong desire now, more than before, to connect with my roots, connect with my heritage.
Yeah, for sure, man. We appreciate that. I don't know, Croc. Go ahead, Croc. You got it. You muted.
From top to bottom, man, from the words, the production, it was excellence, man. And when KP he sent us the link, I think it was yesterday. Did you send it to us?
Might have been,
yeah. It really spoke to my heart, man. And KP, I was like, man, can you get him on? And so in short notice, you
got
all
him
made
on.
it happen, man. It's good to see you get Mike, man, the beard. I didn't recognize you at first, man, but it's good to see you, man. And thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing.
Can I say something though? Like being from Haitian descent, and actually I was born in Canada. I don't know if it's a secret in the world. I was born in Canada, but grew up in Florida. And you said something in that poem that I resonate with. On one hand, you never quite could fit in with your African heritage, but at the same time, you couldn't also fit in with your current context. And bro, that has been my life, right? Literally for 40 years. Well, 39 in a few days, right? And it's weird because a lot of people don't understand being that person is where you're lost in terms of your identity. It's not until you really are able to find your worth in your culture, your worth in your lineage, your worth in your context, that you can embrace who you are. And a lot of people, a lot of young people, who find themselves lost and never able to find themselves, and as a result, life is real hard, and but I mean, your words were powerful, Mike, and man, I was moved by them for real.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Mike, I thought your the entire thing from top to bottom, as which is what was just said, was amazing. I think it gives an opportunity for us as African Americans to hear and listen the true experience to that experience that you've had, and sort of just your thought process in terms of what you're seeing. It's an eye opener for people who it's become our norm, right? To deal with how race comes into the picture in society. And I think that you brought a different lens to it, to remind us that, hey, this is where we come from. I feel like I have a conversation a lot of times with folks that are approaching it from a us versus them. And there's just a forgotten mentality, maybe because of some of the things that George has mentioned, that things haven't been passed down, information hasn't been shared. And so we forget without hearing from folks who are coming in and saying, hey, what is going on here? As a reminder that, we're all coming from the same place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you went there. Go ahead, George.
And I think, and that's how I think you were talking about finding a way to transition. And I think that's the key. Just, and again, on this show, we want to be as objective as possible. We may have our own personal presuppositions, but when we deal with a subject, we want to make sure we just put it out there, and we try to be objective and balanced in how we approach it. And I think as we talk about ADOS, I don't know if KP is going to do more of an introduction with that, but African descendants of slavery, and how that particular conversation jumps off. From my perspective, it is very divisive right out the gate, right? To a certain degree, it seems as though.
Can you explain kind of
what it is?
Yeah.
Well, I think KP did it initially, but Corey, go ahead.
I mean, I kind of spoke to it earlier. I mean, it's a movement that happens, once the reparation conversation starts picking up steam. The question then becomes, well, who gets reparations?
Who gets it? Yeah.
And a lot of folk who are born here and their parents are born here, they can trace their lineage all the way back to a plantation in South Carolina or Florida, whatever. Their feeling was, at least for this group of people, their feeling was, we ought to have access to reparations, so while everybody's black, because usually when people start talking about, do black people deserve reparations, they blanket it, what I'm saying, everybody, because when you look at me, like we said earlier, pre-production, before I speak, before Shay speaks, before Mike talks, before Dora speaks, Gio speaks, everybody just assumes you are African American, just as as Dora said earlier, us African Americans, and we've kind of adopted that language as well, and so their thing was to kind of bring up this distinction to say, no, not everybody's really an African American. You may be from Africa in America, as Mike alluded to, or you might be Africa by way of the Caribbean in America, but there are those of us who are literally African American, what I'm saying? And so it is this conversation that has, again, picked up steam, because I think the more recent conversation is the only reason that Vice President Harris is able to get to where she is because she's mixed, because she's not a clean-blooded, clean slate,
full-blooded, yeah,
ancestor of a or a descendant of a slave from the Americas. And so this conversation keeps popping up. Well, not and I think there's some other stuff too we can share about the income gap. I believe they say the average quote unquote African American makes about what was a median $30,000. Is it more than, or the median about 30,000, whereas the average quote unquote Black American is making like something lower than 20,000 or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's a $10,000 difference.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted some context. So Gio, if you could finish your point, and then Mike, let's kind of hear what Mike has to say on it.
No, I was just saying, basically, it's divisive, because instead of trying to work for the community in general, we're splintered off and we're fractioned off. And again, I mean, I do understand. Like, I get it. I when I say I get it, I see their perspective. Jen talked about perspectives being critical. I do see their perspective in terms of, you know, the whole belief that reparations can even be possible. Is stretched when we think about it's stretched in terms of it not being possible in terms of numbers, right? If you just relegate it to just people who can trace their lineage to American slavery versus immigrants, then you could perhaps have a better opportunity at making that argument for reparations for that segment of people, right? So I can see that, but again, I just think that there are so many more issues that we are faced with that we need to be united on, other than to allow something like that to divide us. And I have my beliefs as to where that comes from, but yeah, as KP would say, I'm not going to share that today. I'm not going to share that today.
No more.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. I don't know, Mike, if you had any thoughts on like, I mean, where does that inform your experience? Because even as we consider it, typically we have this fight between West Indians, Caribbeans, and American blacks, and now we get the perspective of a more African descendant, so what do you feel all of that?
Everybody's fighting each other. It's unfortunate. There are Africans who have a lot of negative things to say about Jamaicans, a lot of negative things to say about African Americans, and then of course African Americans and Jamaicans have different perspectives on everybody else. So it seems as if we have really grown accustomed to attacking each other. I am definitely for, as my experience and explain, and it's shown in that poem as alluded to, I am definitely for understanding like how we can connect, because at the end of the day, if I'm gonna get harassed, they didn't harass me because they said, "Oh, he's an African. I'm gonna come after him." But they said, "No, he's brown." So whether I liked it or not, I'm part of this. I like the comment we mentioned. That was my perspective. I said, if this has to do with something of reparation from slavery, I believe that is such an important thing. If it's possible, why not? Because just the trauma, just from being like, for me, if I didn't accept where I was from and all that kind of thing, my identity would have been here. This is it for me. This is the United States. This is what I eat. That's what I live by. And all the things that are affecting me, all the catastrophes affecting me, all this is stuff that's going to be passed on to my children. The inequalities, everything is going to be there. So if we're going to start from slavery, I said, why not? If it's possible, then I believe, let's not talk about who's what and whatever about Kamala Harris. I think that's an irrelevant point, as opposed to dealing with what is the issue. You were not given what you were supposed to be given. Your ancestors were not given what they were supposed to be given. I feel like it's the least. If you're saying this is the least you could do, because then of course there are other issues to deal with. Are we gonna give reparations for those who were redlined? Are we gonna give proper reparations for those who were given ridiculous high interest rates to live in certain communities? Like, how deep is this going to go? But I think if we could just stop and say, well, if we just have the conversation about just the trauma of slavery and what you promised, I feel, objectively speaking, that's a fair thing to go after. Everything else in trying to say, okay, well, listen, this is not about y'all and this, and like for decades, people who have come here, immigrants who have come here, have also suffered alongside of you, have fought alongside of you as well. So that's probably another type of discussion. Yeah. But I side with that whole, let's deal with this one thing.
Yeah.
And we can stick to that, because everything else is going to be too crazy and it may be going too deep down the rabbit hole unless you deal with what is the core issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the response that we might be seeing now from people in terms of it being divisive stems from history, right? We put in affirmative action we have this thing called minorities in America, and when we look at some of the things that our government has put in place to try and deal with some of the disparate impacts that we've seen, they've not truly gone to Black folks. They've gone tremendously. A lot of it has gone to white women who are also considered to be minorities here in America. And so when we look at the divisiveness, I think a lot of Black folks might see as if some of the programs that they fought for, some of the initiatives that were put in place to correct some of these wrongs have not lived up to its intent. And so in this realm, what you're seeing is people who are saying, we want to make sure we get our piece of the pie. And, you know, in government, because I work in government now, this question of reparations is a big one for most city councils that are entertaining the idea. And one of the biggest challenges is determining how we're going to, in fact, show that history. We know that many of our friends' parents or our parents themselves, we have no way of finding out who our father, grandfather, great-grandfather is. I just did a research myself, and my dad has passed on some information about who my great-great-grandfather was, who was a man who raped my great-great-great-grandmother. And so how are we able to easily access information to then prove that, hey, I'm the one that deserves this, I'm the one that should receive it? And so I think there's so many issues going on with the entire conversation. But first off, I think it's just important to recognize that our history has brought us to this point of just being divided on this particular issue.
Wow. Yeah.
Great point.
I want to read what Kimberly
please.
Douglas says. She wrote, and the thoughts that Kamala Harris had some upper hand because she is an African American is propagating the idea that people of color are incapable and not intelligent enough. That's causing unnecessary division within the group. Agreed.
Yeah, you say that, babe. Say that, baby girl. You say that.
Because the thing, I think when we see people of color, it's ascending to these heights. It is good for the community in general, right? And it gives us the ability, the wherewithal to say, if she could do it, we can't do it, right? And so definitely, I think that history has always shown itself that one of the tools of subjugating people is through division, divide and conquer.
Right.
And but go ahead.
Let me see. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
We know you got something to say, bro. So.
Let me see who is online. Let me see who's online real quick.
Ain't nobody gonna cancel you, man. You're not gonna get canceled. Come on.
So this is my thing. I don't think anybody who is, biracial or mixed or however we want to, discuss it, I don't think they use that to their advantage necessarily, right? But I do think in a country with such hatred that America has, I do think there are some Caucasians or, white people who are more willing to accept somebody who is a little lighter or who perhaps is not all African American. And there's no knock on Harris or Obama, right? They can't help who their parents are. And we even amongst ourselves, like, and I don't mean to joke because I already started joking, so I can't reverse the joke. But when Obama made it in, like the running joke was, well, Michelle, we got one in the even if they take Obama from us, we know we got a full sister in Michelle, right? We said that joint, and I think going back to what Dora was saying, like, there's a history of us being pinned against each other.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Is that more about us? Is that statement, that joke, does that say more about us than the actual reality? I'm not trying to exegete the joke, but I'm saying the fact that we have to think that way, right?
Yeah, right.
It goes back to what you're saying. The history of division is deep within our roots. How's Negro feel Negro? Huh?
the Willie Lynch letter. If y'all have a chance, go and read it. It was basically a guide to slave owners of how to divide us, and it's no mistake that that's where it started, and we're still in that moment. It is the way that we've been taught. So you know, I mean, no surprise that we're here and we're continuing to be here because we've been taught that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
If I could add just a quick point, because Kimberly actually brought it up, and there's like going after Kamala Harris and everything like that. These are emotional objections people are having, but you're creating what Kimberly brought out is unnecessary division, because people of color have been fighting people of color throughout history.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
right.
Tribe versus tribe, kingdom versus kingdom, brown people versus brown people. Next, it could be, so fighting is happening because this is just the human nature, territory, and all that other stuff. But is it necessary? Was this necessary to do? Was this is the option that we were given, as opposed to we are just going to just exhort ourselves because of our feelings of superiority, and we're like, nah, and which we will end up doing the exact thing we're complaining white people are doing.
Right.
That's the biggest dangers that I see.
Yeah. That's the thing right now. Most people are referring to ADOS as black nationalism, basically the black version of white supremacists. You know what I'm saying? I think we talked about this in pre-production when we visited Robben Island. I know George said he'd been out there too, and they described to us how Nelson Mandela was in prison, and even though he was in prison, he was unified with. I mean, all the prisoners were unified, blacks, whites, it didn't matter. Blacks, white, colors, you know how they did it over there. And the only thing the prison guard had to do to turn the tide was to give the white prisoners better blankets, better clothes, better pillows, better food. And without even, instituting segregation, the white prisoners separated themselves because they now saw themselves as better than. I think that, you're right on point, man. It's definitely unnecessary. I think the problem is we buy into the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we can't control, I'm with Croc Hicks. We can't control what they do, quote unquote. Like, we can't control what the greater society is going to do. I was watching a podcast the other day. A white woman went off on men. She said men were crazy, they sucked, they were trash, and white society held her to it. And a few days later, she came back online, copping pleas. You know what I'm saying? Because her own people was like, nah, you're not going to come out here talking crazy about your own people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what would happen if we start holding ourselves accountable, if we start pushing each other forward, rather than saying, and you know what, let me say this too. I think, George, you started touching on it. It comes down to our survival instincts. Like, we're just doing what we got to do to survive.
Yeah.
Like, if I know that I can get a master's house and I'm gonna be a little bit better treated, I'm willing to do what it takes to get in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Because ultimately, the ego wants what the ego wants, and I think what the ego wants is to never is to be above. And in order to be above, we think that it means that someone else has to be beneath. But I think that we have to remember the story about the tides rising, right? When the tides rise, all the boats go up, right? It's not just one boat, but all the boats go up. And I think that what we have to do as a community, we have to find ways to allowing for the tides of our communities to go up. So, I mean, and again, I don't want to transition too much, but I know we were talking about the Fred Hampton story, and that was dope to me because the Black Panther movement in the 60s, their thing was to just protect their community, right? Protect their community. They were trying to raise the tides of their community. And it just takes one person to say, I don't like that person, or whatever the case is, a little division to cause for everything to go down.
Yeah. Can I say this too, man? I think we really got to get on what Mike was dealing with, which is we got to do some soul searching, some identity. We in a legit identity crisis, y'all. We got to go back. And I'm not saying, go find out that you're from Kings and Queens. I'm saying go do some legit, real research and homework. Find out who you are, because if you don't know who you are, you will always be taken advantage of. If you don't have an identity, people can dictate your identity to you. That's just always going to be the bottom line. Yeah, man. And so I'll say this too. My bad, y'all. I got to. You know, like one of the things that's been driving me crazy in the quote unquote black community is this black version of feminism. And I'm gonna go here because I have to, because we're about to go into March.
We're about to get canceled. Let's go.
I don't care. You can cancel me. Here's the thing, you know, and Dora alluded to this. This is what actually made me think of it. Like, you know, let's stop being divisive. You got black women tearing down black men because they're black feminists. Feminism is a white woman's game. Which started because white men held women down. Black men have not done. I mean,
never done that.
Our story.
Yeah.
But what we keep doing is we keep buying into the narratives that are given to us. You know what I'm saying? What we call our women, we got from them. How we treat our children, we got from them. At some point, we're gonna have to say, look, let's stop this foolishness. Let's find out who we are, and let's operate based on what we were made to do, made to be. That's all I gotta say.
So what's up? That snaps.
All right, this man, you wanna jump in here, man? I see you back there soaking it all in.
First of all, I'd like to tell Mike, man, the poem was amazing. Me being from Florida, you know, they always make jokes about Florida. And like what Gio said, it was people from other countries around us all the time. But me not knowing that, I'm just seeing, hey, this is another black person. But I will also see other black people say, like what he said in his poem, you African booty scratcher, or they would make fun of the Haitians. And some of my remember papoose from our neighborhood, B. To me, I just saw a black person in America trying to make it. So it's like the more I start getting older, I saw that, you know, like people having their flags in their car, and then African Americans, you don't see African American people riding around American flag.
Yeah.
Right.
And that actually also is why I do my entrepreneurship, because we had the code switch. We're living double lives. So it's almost kind of hard for us to even learn who we are. When we go on to work, people say crazy stuff, and you just got, Charles, you right. You know, I'll be right back to you. And when you go home, you be like, whoa, I'm going to kill somebody today. Okay, Brian. Then you look at your family, you're like, I gotta fight a good fight.
Suck it up, yeah.
Yeah, so it is a lot about educating ourselves, and that's why one of the books I read with Marcus Garvey, Message to the People, one of his things where he tried to do is unify melanated people across the world under that one flag. And that was the best thing that I read thus far. Because if we're fighting amongst each other, we're falling into the enemy's hand. He just sitting back and just watching. So,
I mean, one of the things we were saying, KP and Carl Kicks, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna shut up. But one thing we were saying in pre-production was, like, real talk. If we want to talk about reparations, there is a global, you know, there's a need for global reparations, right? Because the profits made off of slavery was not just American slavery. It was the entire, you know, the triangular slave.
When did it begin? KP?
Yeah, and you know, I'll be the one to say it since you want me to say it. You know, it was the Pope that gave Portugal the permission to go into Africa and get slaves.
There it is.
So I need some reparations from the Vatican.
The church got to pay up.
I need reparations from all over the place.
Render unto Caesar.
They're paying for other stuff. They might as well pay for that too.
Oh, snaps! Yeah.
All right. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
No, I want to stay here for just a few more moments. I know the time is beyond us, y'all. We thank you all for hanging out with us. But this us picking on each other, this divisiveness amongst ourselves, like, this stuff got to stop. Like, literally, it has to stop, and it's everywhere. It's in school, it's in church, it's at work, it is everywhere. And it gotta stop. Like I just said, like, we grew up in similar homes, the same neighborhood, and I didn't see, you know, all I saw was just blackness, right? You know, and I think that's one of the reasons why God says one of the attributes we must have to make it to heaven is to be like a child. Because as a child, man, we just see things as they. It's all the other stuff is not important to us, man. But we gotta love each other. Somebody said something to me. I was getting ready to knock somebody out. I was
in Jesus Christ.
I was getting ready to throw hands. I was there. It was a real moment.
Because I throw hands, right? Yeah. So we were playing flag football, man. Somebody put put their hands on me in essence.
Yeah.
Ran over me, and as I was getting up, he pushed me to the ground.
Yep.
So I'm gonna scoop him. I tried to scoop him. I was gonna get on top of him. I was gonna work him. I knew his team was gonna jump on me, but in my mind, I'm thinking my team got me.
We was there.
You
Well,
know, a couple of y'all,
yeah.
right?
Way back.
I
So
was there.
God held my hand. He would not allow me to get my hand around this skinny dude and just body slam him and work him. And so after the game is over, most of my teammates are talking about they disappointed in me, like we ain't come here for this. And I'm like, bruh, he put his hands on me and I didn't swing. Y'all should be patting me on my back, throwing me a party. I did not swing.
Yeah.
You know, and one of my friends, and as I was charging the guy, like all my teammates were trying to hold me back, I was just shrugging them off. There was this one guy, Jason Heroic, like you don't want to mess with him. So when he came to me, I started backing up. But what he said to me after everybody left was this, and I just got to say it. He said, white people can't stand alone and black people don't stand together. And it rocked me. It rocked me in a moment because in that very moment, the guy who pushed me, his team applauded him because he was able to get me angry. I got tossed out of the game. We got a person to foul.
And we needed you in the game, by the way.
And my team was mad at me because I yelled at somebody after they put their hands on me. It rocked me. There's more to that story, but I want to keep my job.
For the record, my team does not include KP, y'all. So
you was there, bro. You was there.
Don't lump me in with my team.
You was there like this is their problem.
Standing alone and standing. Yeah, that's actually a good quote.
I feel like Mike, you look like you got something brewing, man. Before we shout out your entrepreneurship as well.
I got it. Y'all said so much there. Kings and Queens statement. Somebody said that, and so that was been buzzing in my head this whole time. I think it was you, KP. Now this is one of the things that I honestly get frustrated when I hear that, because one, it for me makes no sense when people just kind of like say, "Yo, listen, we was kings." I'm like, first of all, the big problem is not everybody was. That's not how kingdoms work. So that just dismisses that whole issue once there. Then the other problem is you're denying a real rich heritage of a community of that support and build each other that was heavy on things like agriculture, and everybody playing their part. It was heavy on
family values. Yeah,
right.
Heavy on entrepreneurship. I found out recently. It was like my grandfather. Apparently, he was in shipping or something like that. He was somebody who worked there. So he was. It's like. And it's kind of interesting because it's like it's in my blood. So for me, I was like, I'm not comfortable just working for somebody else. It's like it's really in me. Like I hate the idea of me at this stage of my life being an employee, because I don't. It's something that burns in you, and so it's not just saying yes, we were from societies, and then they had chiefs and kings and different kind of things, but they also had a strong community. They also had different aspects in how the people support each other, but they had different gifts, different crafts, different talents. But they also, and I'll just kind of just slip that in, because I slipped something in about the Igbo people. They preserved different things. They preserved things that has a rich history, goes all the way to the scriptures. But they took responsibility and said, we must continue preserving these things lest we forget.
Yeah.
On earth we are. So it gives you more responsibility. Not just know somebody was a king, but it gives you more responsibility in knowing this is where you're from. This is what they care about. And these attributes, you can do amazing things, and you can see where you fit in this big scheme of things, instead of necessarily looking for someone to bail you out and fix you because you see yourself as a low class being, like I saw myself. Yeah. You look at so much more to yourself, and of course to now joining with people who are like-minded, because everybody's going to get it or want to get it. You join yourself people more like-minded, so you can say, well, what are we going to do with this with this rich history we have, this knowledge we have,
Right.
how will we be responsible for all these people who have died and given us these opportunities to now know where we're from?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, man, it's been a rich conversation. Clearly, we could do probably a whole month on this, man.
Whole year.
This was rich. We appreciate all the kickback, Idis, Mike, Dora. You know what I'm saying? Holding it down. I'm not sure if we shared Idis's information, but Mike is also an entrepreneur. As you heard him say, he cannot work for the man. If you want to find out more about Mike, go to thisismikeo.com. Thisismikeo.com. He's on Facebook and IG at This Is Mike O. And I don't know, George, if you want to give me the screen share just for a moment. Mike is a photographer as well. He does spoken word. He speaks, but he also does wedding photography. He does some really good work. So if you guys, if you're in the New York area, especially if you want to hit Mike O up, definitely go ahead and give him a shout. Mike, we appreciate you being on. Idis again. I know people were definitely inspired today, man. We don't want to keep everybody all night, so fellas.
Yeah, we're gonna do this last segment. We're gonna do our Black History highlight with none other than Miss Dora. So please tell us a little bit about your passion towards Black history. I know every year, faithfully, you're posting every day. No, I love it. I absolutely love it. But every day you're posting away. Tell us a little bit about that, and then tell us about who we're going to highlight today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think that for me, being able to read people's stories and sort of hear the just trajectory of what happened in their lives to be highlighted. And I think Mike kind of hit on the fact that everybody has a story, but it's a form of, I think, motivation. And I think you get a lot of major keys from just understanding what somebody's story is. I like to call, Black history the Black story, which is sort of like a compilation of everybody, the people that came before us, us, and then those that will come, behind us. And I think being able to share those experiences allow us to do a lot of things. One, gain some knowledge about something that maybe we didn't know before. I think it also, and I see this a lot more with young kids, especially, is it gives them a source of confidence in people that look like them. I think at times it gives, like I said, me confidence. But I also think that in addition to the confidence, it allows us to kind of remember where we came from. And that's kind of what this whole discussion was about, is remembering all of what has happened in history and where we are today. And so for me, those are really all the reasons why I think Black history is so important. My job right now, I am a equity and policy director for the city of Seattle. So we are the only city, only county in the nation that has a race and social justice program where race is sort of at the forefront. And so I try to practice sharing Black history every day. I may not do it on my social media all the time because it's very busy. But I think it's so important. And as we're talking about being unified, a great way to do that is just sharing and passing information about who we are and what we've been through. Because I think it's just a story of survival and hope and just the resilience that I think Black folks have had to this point. So for me, that's what it's about. I chose an individual today that I think is a brother who I think revolutionized the shoe industry. And I chose him special for y'all today. So the highlight is Jan Ernst Matzeliger, which is pretty hard to produce if you don't know. And I appreciate you putting that up. But he was born around 1852. His father was white. His mother was Black. He had began working in some machine shops and later became a sailor, and that brought him to the States, which is where he settled in Philly, matter of fact. So after he was there, he worked for a couple of years, and being that he was a dark-skinned man, he didn't have a lot of options with where to work, and so they put him to work at a shoe factory, and so he learned all parts of that trade, crafting, everything from each part of that shoe by hand. And honestly, I think he just got tired of it because he was so smart. He knew there had to be another way. So he set out to kind of figure out, a way to create this machine. And if y'all have ever heard of a lasting machine, it's basically a machine that puts, the whole shoe together from the top of the sole to the bottom of the sole. And so he has the patent for that today.
Wow.
I just think it's important, that we recognize someone of such importance, because we wouldn't be walking around,
Change the game up.
talking about sneakers
Kicking it.
that we got on, without sort of his contribution. And so just a reminder, he's just in the last 50 years been recognized for that, which is crazy.
Wow.
But just a moment of just understanding, like, y'all talk about shoes. Here's a brother that he made it happen. So we ain't talking about Nike. We ain't talking about Adidas.
Come on now.
We ain't talking about none of that unless we're talking about this man. And so that's the highlight for
Shout
today.
out.
I appreciate y'all listening.
I like it.
Man, that was awesome. It was news to me. I'll be honest, in my ignorance, I never heard of the brother, but
That was dope, Dora. Thank you.
Am I the only one that wants to say Dora the Black History Explorer? Because I've been fighting it for like the last 20 minutes.
Fight it.
keep hope alive.
Nah.
Yo.
Well, listen, y'all, from everybody, especially our guests tonight, you all took a lot of time out of your schedule. Some of you all waited backstage, came on, was still backstage. We brought you back on. We're grateful.
You talking about Itis?
We're grateful for you all. And speaking of Itis, here's his information. Tal Cal, it's all there. Got a phone number for you, 678-680-8262. They need drivers. If you're not a driver, but you know a driver, let's get them connected with this brother. He's going to take real good care of you. I trust him with my life. All right. God bless you all, man. You all have been great. Thanks for everybody in the comment section. You all made the show. It was lit in there all night long. You all were bringing the content and the comments. We're grateful for that. We got time for that 316 moment, man.
Hey, if you can do it in 120 seconds, we're about to find out if it's true.
Can you drop this 316 moment?
Let's get it. Let's go 316. I'm reading from John 17. This is what Jesus says. You can read it for yourself from 13. He says, I'm not asking you to take them out of the world, but to keep them away from the evil one. They are not of the world, just as I'm not of the world. Sanctify them in your truth. The truth. Your word is truth. Just as you sent me into the world, I send them into the world. And for their sakes, I sanctify myself so that they themselves also may be sanctified. And here's what we want to get to. He says, I'm not asking on behalf of these alone, but also for those who believe in me through their word, that they may all be one, just as you, Father, are in me and I in you, that they also may be us, so that the world may know that you sent us. Jesus is at the communion table. He could say anything to his disciples. This is his last parting words. He decides to pray for them. And the one thing he prays that God will do for them is that God will make them into one, that they would be unified. And I know people are throwing around unity nowadays. We're not talking about no superficial unity in policy. Jesus says that if you are in them as I am in you, that they will be one. I just pray, man, that we as a people will learn that we got to really start in the divine. We got to go to God first, that if we would all seek God, get to God, find God, have an experience with him, that naturally we will be drawn into one. And it's not just one in divinity, but it's also one in our destination and destiny. Because once we are in God, the Bible says, Jesus says, now the rest of the world can know that this whole gospel is true. And so, man, let's all be one. Let's aspire to do that. That's our 316 moment. Terrible.
Yo, so with that being said, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, next week, Monday, same place, same time, same host, same fire, same information, same energy, same everything,
heat.
Same heat,
same kicks. I ain't
kicks.
buying no more shoes.
All right, man. Y'all take care. Peace.